Hey friends, welcome back to Jenny Food and My Kitchen. What do we eat most of at the holidays? Desserts, right? Well, today I'm showing you one of my family's favorite Christmas time desserts, and that is a German chocolate pie. It is a filling that we're going to go ahead and we're going to make on the stove, and then we're going to fill pre-baked pie shells and top it off with that good coconutty pecan goodness. Chill, and then we're going to serve to rave reviews. If you're looking for a good Christmas pie this year, you're going to want this one. Let's make this. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and bake off these pie shells. Now, normally I would make my own pie shells, but today I'm a little short on time. I know you know all about that, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these in a 400-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. And then when these come out, our filling should be almost done by then, and we will go ahead and fill these with that chocolate that we're going to make on the stove. All right, remember we are making a double pie, so I am going to use my Lodge Dutch oven, which I always link below if you're looking for one. Especially makes a great gift for Christmas. We are going to start with our flour. Now, normally the recipe calls for 6 tablespoons. We are going to use 12 tablespoons, doubling it. And I know that 12 tablespoons is equal to 3/4 cup. So I'm going to add 3/4 cup right into our pan here. There's 2. And there's 3. There's our flour, and then our cocoa powder. We are going to go ahead and use, the recipe calls for 3, so we are going to do 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now, I believe what's in this bowl is the Dutch processed. I find that Dutch processed helps things be super chocolatey and fudgy, so I tend to like using that one. All right, there's 3. 4, 5, and 6. A cup of sugar per pie, so I'm going to go ahead and with 2 cups of sugar. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm going to whisk all of my cocoa powder, flour, and sugar together. That way it doesn't kind of clump up together. We are going to add our wet ingredients. We're going to add everything in this pot, and then we're going to bring it all to a slow boil. And then once it starts to thicken and starts to get real thick, we'll take it off the heat, let it cool, and fill our shells. I love a good recipe that is as simple as it is delicious. And this is definitely one of those. All right, next goes in 4 cups. I mean, it's 2 cups per pie, but we're gonna add 4 cups of milk. Right in our bowl, in our pan, right in our pan. All right, then the last thing we're gonna add before we take it to the stove is 6 egg yolks. So I will go ahead and I will separate all of these. There's 1, 2, there's 3, 4, 5, and our last one. All right, now I'm going to take this back to the stove. I'm going to whisk those egg yolks in, and we're going to turn this on kind of like a medium heat and just let that slowly come up and cook until it's thick. So I'll meet you back at the stove. All right, before I get this on the heat, I am just whisking this just to make sure that I get all of that flour, sugar, cocoa incorporated, and that all those egg yolks are broken up. So I haven't even turned on the heat yet. I'm just going to wait till I get this completely whisked together. All right, I've got our stove on to like a medium heat. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to gently stir this so that those eggs and everything just kind of cooks gently and thickens together as it gets hot. And our pie shells are now done. I'm just letting those cool. Those should be cool enough as soon as our pie is cooked and thickened, and then we will split this mixture into both of those and make the topping. All right, and you can see how it's starting to thicken. I'm still stirring. And as you can see, we are just about there. That is nice and thick. So once this is thickened just a little bit more, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a half a teaspoon of salt. All right, it's completely thick where we want it. So I'm adding in a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm just going to drop in just a little bit of vanilla, about a teaspoon. There we go. And then we'll whisk that. That butter will just kind of make it nice and smooth and buttery. All right, our chocolate is done, and as you can see, that's a very thick consistency. Our butter and salt and vanilla are all mixed in. We're just gonna let this cool maybe about 5 minutes, and then I will go ahead and I will set it into the pie shells. All right, I've got my filling added to my 2 pie shells. And as you can see, that pretty much, those are deep dish, by the way, that filled them up. And then in another clean pot, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 half cups of brown sugar. There's 2. And 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. All right, I've got my heat on. I've got my 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 stick of butter, and 1 cup of heavy cream. Now I am just going to mix this and then cook this until it reaches 160 degrees. And then we're going to temper it with some eggs, return that all back to the pot, and then cook it until it's nice and thick and add our coconut topping. And while that's cooking and coming up to temp, I am going ahead and I am whipping up 4 egg yolks. Now that's 2 egg yolks per pie. And then, like I said, we're going to temper in this hot mixture to these eggs and then return that and stir it all very quickly. Cook it just a little longer until it's nice and thick, and add our coconut and pecans. Got that up to 160 degrees. Now I'm just going to slowly temper this hot liquid with my eggs, just a very little bit at a time. Don't want those eggs to cook, but we want them to be hot. And then we're going to quickly take that and go right into our mix, stirring as we go in so it doesn't cook. And as you can see, that's just a thin kind of ribbon going in. All right. Get a shot of that. And then I'm going to return the heat to that. And we'll cook this until it's completely thick. Add our coconut and pecans. As you can see, I added our 2 cups of coconut and our 1 cup of pecans. Now, I am going to, this is still pretty warm, but it's going to set up as it sits on those pies. So I'm going to go ahead and get that onto those pies. All right, friends, if you can see, we've got this coconut mix. Let me show you. Kind of reminds us of that good German chocolate frosting, right? So it's still warm, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to ladle it on top of these pies. That it will cool and it will begin to kind of thicken a little more as it cools. But as easy as pie, right? All right. Get that kind of divided evenly. And that makes a good amount of topping per pie. I'm being generous, I think. All right. Now, if you want to, you can add, half of those nuts into the mix and then kind of sprinkle the other half on top. I've done it both ways. This is just kind of quicker. Boy, look at that. All right, that looks perfect. All right, one pie down. Pie number one. All right. And then we're just going to go all the way to the edges. This is going to be a high pie tonight. And like I said earlier, this is going to a ladies' night, our ladies' holiday party tonight. We're going out, but I'm bringing dessert to my friend's restaurant that I'm helping get open and get going. So if you notice that I'm a little, posting one day and you don't see me for a few days, I'm at the restaurant. All right, I think we're good. There is our 2 pies. I will get a tester tonight for these pies and I will video their reaction. So I'll see you tonight, friends. All right, first of all, let's just talk about how good that pie is set up. I'm gonna get my friend to try a piece of this and he'll let you know how it is. All right, it's my friend Paul. How is it?
That's great. Absolutely great.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.